Hello, IVA families. This is your Principal Jackie Bryant with some Friday announcements. On the first page of our announcements, I often do events that are coming up. And the first one is not actually an event, but April 27th, next Monday, is our 7th week of Safer at Home, and it's the last week of April. The last week of every month, we try to have something different on the Friday at the end of the month. And I want to give a first challenge thought to you families. What will you do at the end of April to celebrate that you did the whole month of April and you did it well? Our school normally celebrates with a large game of tag. We can't think of anything better than running around and being silly. I hope that you think of something wonderful. As we look into May, there is a PTA meeting for a board for the 2021 school year. We have a full list, a full roster of boards, and we'll vote on them on May 14th. The 25th is a holiday, Martin Luther King, and June 11th is the last day of school. I want to give you some updates about things that have been adjusted over this last week and things that we've learned. One is that we really want to simplify and be very clear about our communication. So we've made some adjustments to our website that I will show you in a moment. And we realize that the week at a glance document that we have is probably going to be your best resource. So that's something to look for if you haven't already. And the clarity is that everything that we're doing is intended to do no harm for students. All of our decision making, participation, grading, how we're approaching classes. Teachers today in professional development talked about what is their priority for class time. If we have this limited amount of time and we don't want students to be on the screen for very long, only 45 minutes for each of their 6 classes, then what is going to be our priority? And these are the words and phrases that were really resonating with each of the teachers, that our priority is connection for students, empathy, that they would feel safe and protected. There would be accountability, there would be creativity. For our students, I want you all to know that we are going to try to continue to limit adjustments and just learn how to be deep with the limited amount that we have. Depth over breadth. We're trying to do less with do more with less. And that means giving clear directions and collecting feedback from you, continuing to have face-to-face sessions with teachers or just their voice. If a teacher records a video, that still is that moment of face connection. And you'll have the same schedule of classes moving forward next week. We do not anticipate changing that for the rest of the year. If you look on our website, this is what the main page of our website looks like. And we changed it around so that under the resources menu, you'll find everything that you need for the distance learning. There's communication. We moved our parent newsletters to under that area, which come out Monday morning. And then we have our schedules there and our week at a glance. Also, if you go to the slider of our webpage and you click on read more, if the distance learning slider comes up, then it'll take you immediately to the week at a glance, because that is an amazing document that our teachers put together to make it very clear what all the assignments are for the week, organized by grade level. One request that has come in is that we get those weeks at a glance out to families the week before, and unfortunately our teachers need the time over the weekend to grade, adjust, and decide what they want to do with their week moving forward and the content moving forward. So those are going to continue to come out on Monday mornings. I also want to say that fancy new tech is being learned every single day. Yesterday, I did my very first poll with my advisory group, and the question was, are you more of an introvert or extrovert? Because in advisory, we're thinking that might be really nice to figure out where we fall in those categories and how that means that this time period might be impacting us differently. And the responses were evenly spread in our group. So there's all these sort of technical things that we can learn and adjustments that we can make. But what is really standing with me is that we are a culture of thinking as a school, and that we want to continue to be. A culture of thinking is one that produces feelings and energy and even joy that can propel forward and motivate us to do what at times can be hard and challenging mental work. And I think that school closure is that hard and challenging mental work. And that what we are going to continue to rely on is our culture of thinking. In Monday's newsletter, we'll include the video from this last Thursday's Parent Academy with Mary Van Geffen. She asked some really helpful questions for parents, and then also asked, what are the rituals that you are doing to celebrate getting to be together as a family? And there were some really fun rituals. We'll include that in the video. But one point that she made is that families don't need to worry about academics right now. So this is for you parents. The best thing that you can do is make sure that your kids feel connected and supported, because we know that resilience in trauma, or just resilience and safety, allows kids to feel motivated to do academics. Students, academics are there because learning is beautiful, and we want you to continue learning and be challenged with the complexity in the world around us. But we know you can't do this unless you're feeling like you know what's going on. And so for many of you, we're still at the stage where we just are feeling like we know what's going on and trying to figure that out. Today in professional development, I realized something else. One is that sometimes when we open, we have two options to share. And so here were the two options. What good and steady moment in the last few weeks might you remember in a year? The other option was, what have been your biggest growths in the last few weeks? And as teachers were sharing, it struck me that it is really hard to think about how we've grown, because we are in the midst of so many constant changes. And so what we can depend on are those good and steady moments that maybe we're going to realize and remember in a year were monumental for us. Here's a picture in our professional development today of when we were answering the question. This picture right here is a snapshot of when one of our teachers, one of our staff member, was talking about having a toddler at home. Do you remember that time where you did something amazing and the toddler said, again? And this individual was saying that their big moment is learning to do it again, learning to keep going on, having that patience, and enjoying it and delighting in it. So there's some of our staff's good and steady moments that they hope that they will remember in a year. I want you to think about yours also. And thank you to the student who sent me a picture. Every week we send baby pictures and we include them in. So for all of you at home, probably students, who is this? It's the same person, and hint, it's a sixth grader. Also, we're going to have weekly announcements. So students, send me your baby pictures. My inbox is crazy big, but I can figure out how to find baby pictures. And anyone, parents and students, send us your pictures of distance learning and also your learning breaks. What are those rituals that you're doing with your families that is making this time really, really worthwhile? I'm going to leave you this weekend with this question that I hope you might talk about together, or even just think individually. What are the good, steady moments in the last few weeks that you that you might remember in a year? Hope you have a really great weekend. We'll send you more information in Monday's newsletter. Bye.